Adofnom enden so kwasi de nwumre no nsia abokobo no so de unim se adiyemre na ye de eba wakwan so ye beta mo ase se nwumre bia mo jebre na mo hwedwumadi a etise ye se de mo frɛ na mo ne ye dia no baba ye no so ade a ye ni so na ye fe papa ye ho nyankopon enhira mo na mo beka me ho na de aseda kese so ama station yura nyankopon nam ne nsa so de station abebo adze se de mfantefo beka no ama yenso yenya kwenya ewo so a yitimi adi dwumadi adi sei eba wakwan so na chairman Mr. Free yes ananu kuada na your birthday one ton san from mama merenko kakra na so je bende belated birthday nyame enhira papa no ntre wuhim no ma won kwatenten apomden ewum no nhira wo yere nso no mo nkwande da nti chairman ihwa nyankopon enhira enu achi nso mbaka me ho ne de aseda kese amadofo a otiti wo mo wirim eyisika na wotwe bosome de biara e de support program se de be betia to airtime e de program eti say aprewo mesra wada won so wakwanya so obetimia donate their support program no eti branch medie ne e koso no me de number e beto dwa kakra word of one sem e no de ma no send de ato so ne etimia to airtime ne etimia sustain program e wo na aboa ama yetimia bo Yesu Kristo maye no de wuro e de akire ewiase amansan nyina mo hwe RTV yemamo adwo emamo kwaba yego nyankopon enhira mo papa enu achi nso ne ye stream live on Facebook to bet me ahwe home base TV Facebook and also benya program no live die emre mimidin asuafo de hye Kofi Kakari as usual evangelist the researcher prophet Joseph Ananewa ha evangelist mo adwo mo kwaba
yeah bia
Mr. Monya prophet and dem ya na bia ma no okay we na what twetwa mu no yen kaka ya adwe kakra ye hwe bibi about Donald Trump grace period part 1 na so obeka ya evangelist nyankopon nam no so ka kire yen se se ye hwe wiase abobre no se de esi kwa ewiase aye hyebro afibia the last decade of the world history no enu achi apuyiri etra ne hye enam so ama edi oyene abawiase ene wiase fo ato ne din de climate change it won't so mo hwe enhyehye ha ombetimi aya sa bobre na ese ye editorate no ebetimi de sina na mu bi ewu enti ye friend scientists akese mu nyina ade o madwem pokoe wo mo de koe no ye koto so aba na nsa na ye beto so aba no na so asori nkabo mu ko wiase nyina a Roman Catholic di animu enso de mo makakra ka bi se tie ni ese panie a ye friend lada to see a wo mo so de akose ye enso ya adwen kire honhomfam a ye de beboa ama climate change na yaso ano enie yekopɛ mu a ya twera hye mu ba bi se emfa kwasi ada ensi ho se nyankopon da kron fansa meda memene dan eno na evangelist say ku nyame asem se ahenie bi beba obesese nyankopon mre ne mra an homeda no so ka ho bi na ebedi Yesu Kristo maya etoso mi no anim etisi ehunu se bibi se esi a enye okwa na mum bibi batachiri nesese abofo miensa nkransem no do otoso nan no bokoko se sa de we besi na obi biara wo osom biara etu sa na mo no bie no ene kese bi fro se dwane furim eje okra nkwa na wanye wonne boni ni bi na wanya wona so twen ni bi na bra wo mu be frase de sa hanhihye ya adwuma pe na America foto aba to aba papa bi na akọ wi na friend Donald Trump oba say America ma yi mu afirim climate change mu yi mfirim ye de enka ho enam so ma wo mu antumi a implement adentra because America film na twase wiase nyina so ene ye de wo mu di sa adwuma no sese ye kwa akoto aba aka de na America to aba Donald Trump de be win ana Biden ana ene be win Biden de wa hyabo say o win ne ye so ene in ne o chena o de ho kwa akohye mu bi o mu di hye mu aye be ro ye keka funu no ye keka madam pint ne ye ba abbe to so na ene ye videos mako 20 ye be ye nti me so ye crowd na ye hwe program evangelist time akwa ba bi
na ye so
Donald Trump Grace part 2 e de na e wo ka kire
se wa bwa se nyina to fa mai be bwa kra be betimi etumre kantem ye de nyankopon ase memfa ebre enchia adofo ba ko mienu bi
okay
ba kwenta ba ko efre akwento mu aba efre no Mr. Body me gidi se sa abre yi o hey wo tie so
o se quarantine center na
o de bi wa be nyankopon do
okay
ni hu so
okay ye da you ase
te no pane body me chia wo yire ne abusu nyina anwumre yi me chia me ma me chia etima me se wo brekusu
okay
omo no so de nso ombo adwuma
that's right
me chia papa na fe o nso so a de biara one Ghana 5 cities times omo de maye no ye ntimi bodin ye mom ye na yapon ti no me da mo nyina ase ndie mo ye maye me chia ma senso so na me chia masafo ma
okay
asedanka ye ho adin one say ye shashe say ye edise metredu nine abofo miensa na wo ho no ene ye kan say abofo na ye nine
okay
ye shashe na ebinum anti ase ba ye bedru de to so na so no say omo na mo nti ase so obi aye din
that's right
yes aye din na say ko ye ma wo na edise etedum watch Revelation 18 obofo no a Bible chese oba ya ne ho na ho den na bi onyam ti
asase na itumi o de kasa no
ye bo video ha chere se sa nkomse ne ebemu 2001
that's right
very good sa aturenche ma si was New York September 11 eno ene dia dance say ye drew Revelation chapter 18 verse 1
okay
if you hon eye ebra Bible ashe nkomse na nkobehwe ne hu agu ni maso
that's right
if you sa
afọ de akodin afre ne mafri isum
yes na no so na be kire yen say ye drew ya se wi ebrem
okay
na de tie ne say o Kristo ni biara na so gidi ni biara opu sankransem na wo 18:1 onya po verse 1 no pe ya ka nyina no unhu hwe biem
that's right
sanity cause ono ne bofo oba otwe adwen ekọ de di ka menu miensa ne so
okay
na fe ode yen akọhye Yesu Kristo mai no so enti ono ne bofo a odi anim ediko verse bi ebrem enti ono ba na wo po de ano no production dey sanction na ato screen no so
okay
enti no eno si 2001 ena we de mo se se yi on se owia ne drusum ema bosum nso ye court se moja
that's right
and no by 2006 2007 ne nyina mu no eyan komsha na e wo jowo a wo kire se o hwe de wo aguni maso enti April 2001 onyankopon na kwa nwaso enya ne nya ne yen se be ya adwen beko atwe ne so amfe wo free verse 1 number verse 2 verse 2 na kire mo se Babylon kase ne de ahwe ase
okay
ne no ya asori nkabom ku a e course e wo America ye video ha na mema wa bo letter head back ko bisu keke
okay
na obo so mema wa kan Pope Benedict of America kwa ye nhyiamu ye bo video no ha April 18 2018 but wo de kan head ni keke because letter no don so ovia wo be kan se Anglican for so ko bi ovia na wa kan Anglican for enum asema mo de tudwa ma me en baby Anglican for the letter di
okay
but wo de my head in the no, the head, tell you, actually, the better screens to my so.
Okay, Apostolic Journey.
Very good.
To the United States of America and visit to the United Nations Organization headquarters.
Yes. Apostolic Journey. We po Bennett in it to Quanqui.
Okay.
O free Rome, Echo America, Okosha, so that's all we na.
Okay.
Obia or call UN headquarters. Now for Nimpany for no Akotofu.
Okay.
Now, so the same coino. Obia training the Numasem, Obia to report. Now, me ba Copewe Anglican. Now, all the over my head in Nika can never be a highlighting.
Okay. The Episcopal Church.
Yes, all my Anglicans.
At ecumenical service, Pope Benedict the 16th.
Yes.
Calls for oneness of hope, faith and love among Christians.
So
prophetic actions leading to the splintering of Christian bodies.
Very good.
Decrease. April 19th, 2008.
18, right? 2008.
2008.
Yeah,
Okay.
Good. And to push him almost say, document nature say, a group of you know, your kind of say, Yankai humbo, according to the document.
Okay.
If you say, and only a bra or call US. I don't know one Africa, I know one Asia. If you say, comes here, a chassis to America.
Okay.
Revelation 18:1, a chassis or US. 18:2 US. Baby or Revelation 18 beyond verse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Ninano, a basis US. Nafi Atenaba, Yebiasi, Emunina. And you know, Pope Benedict to free Rome straight any US. Can't only know Bob Catron said Brown Sea in Ayabefi. And to only answer you to and now at twice so baby 2017 can a couple of United can say the protest is over now.
That's right.
And we are both happy to know until a man per se may have 100 videos.
Okay.
In some kind of home yeno, one more goes on where's Adiano. Now for Ransom a peja, the question Amranoa. Or they call UN for climate change.
I would say yeah, the mark of the Catholic Church.
Very good.
The mark of the Sunday worship.
And you know, or no, what did or Peñas had now you do Revelation chapter 18, verse 3.
Okay.
So that a whole day one can say Babylon or see a man in now,
grandma more phone Sunday.
Ha, sir. And you know, me chill must say, Lada to see no for Francis de Coy. Or the choir said, in say, womb, a control one, young Pammo, we are so by.
That's right.
And on a UNG, ya de call Paris, acquire climate change and someone, ya too, Paris climate change.
Okay.
Now, Sa hono nso asori bebree enti sa de na se.
Okay.
Ya bo ho video aka document e kire se o mankasa dia to se kwasa da sum e wa sa de no.
That's right.
Nipa no de ade no kwaya se wa twa kwasa da so answer de won chen mom se da bi.
Na se de.
Na yenya opening bank mu e be kan ye November 4 2016. Se e free said da no kono amai nyina age Paris agreement change den atum
including the Laudato Si.
Including Laudato Si. O nyina age atum. Enti no se nipa na kasa na sa asore se da bia ya na ehu be hia se to da bia ye din krata e be chia dance na di video enti no we de ye nche ho yem ne videos no kakra mu yem call the first tranche.
Okay.
Na videos ni mra.
Okay. Me da se the kind na videos 20 ye ni adaje semester production video 1 to 5 so my ready mo roman
standing of the Paris Climate Agreement particularly. If you read the Paris Climate Agreement, and you remember in the video there's a mention of this Paris Climate Agreement, and there's the statement that the Sunday law is embedded in the Paris Time Agreement. That's just not factual. The Sunday law is not embedded in the Paris Agreement. Now, there are environmental issues that certainly can play into the larger impact of a national Sunday law in the future. We don't deny that. But to say that it's in the Paris Accord, it's not accurate. Secondly, that would be a very difficult case because you'll recall that our current president in the United States pulled out of the Paris Accord and pulled out of those environmental agreements. And so I think it's better just to leave that one alone.
America's leading the world towards dealing with climate change in a serious way. Global action. One of the reasons the State Department decided the Keystone Pipeline would not serve the national interest. Approving that project would have undercut our global leadership. And we've got to lead by example because ultimately, if we're going to prevent large parts of the earth from becoming not only inhospitable but uninhabitable, then we're going to have to keep some fossil fuels in the ground rather than burn them. We're going to have to reduce the amount of dangerous pollution released in the skies, we're going to have to make sure that we develop the clean energy alternatives that are sustainable. And as long as I'm president and as long as you're out there organizing, America is going to hold ourselves to the same high standards with which we want to hold the rest of the world.
His Excellency, the Secretary of State of the United States of America. We don't have a rope. Excuse me.
Nations is moving closer to fulfilling the mission entrusted to us 70 years ago. Our charter reaffirms the fundamental human rights, dignity, and worth of every single person. Leaders from around the world have just adopted a new vision of sustainable development. There are 17 sustainable development goals, all based on a single guiding principle: to leave no one behind.
It is crucial that the United States remains a leader on environmental issues. The Secretary General looks forward to engaging with the American government and all actors in the United States and around the world to build the sustainable future on which our grandchildren depend. And I'll take one.
Adolfo, you sign MMO Quababio. Ubetumi send all questions and so there about WhatsApp line at that screen. So na every bema yet me I can kind Ediama. I copy videos 5. Yanko evangelist evangelist.
Yes, quickly. The very first one, I Dr. Pastor McFinley.
Okay.
Okay, is the penny for any Nyagana Hakra or America. Papa,
that's right.
Now, on one by out Abekase, Paris agreement, wish him one, Quasada Manabu.
I said SDF for Sabascus, you know, so almost was taken.
What do you ever? And you know, me can say, dear Yakin, say, will lose track of Revelation chapter 18, verse 1, Ube lose track of Kenyara.
Okay.
Sana identity. And we say 18:1 and the be watching Momu Dieba.
Okay.
And you want to verse 1, Jack and you know, Posa, a bear was so about Bones now. Okay. If you say, Yes, Christo, now what decline. On Yakopo on peso be a begerenti. Also on one Casababa Musantrani, Isaiah 7:14.
That's right.
And such an answer, Oba Ben Oba Ben say, Oba one warreda. Or no Ben say, oh, but yes. Or Ben say, now Obabu Bema. 18 Pacho says, I brand no materials and minty Hebrew Casa, minty Greeka, or buying Saya no swimming. And nothing above one say, Sabo for no way this and no what you do, or no bar, or ja, moja, and the Musikumo. And minty Greek, minty Hebrew, Moja swimming one means a moja.
That's right.
Understand?
World Trade Center, no?
Yes, a day. I do it when we are Edrusum, yes, or Sramso Bedane, or Sir. As far as I can boom. And it's a woman, you see. Now to make a consider who's a trust in near. They bet each other, Benina. And you know, I don't blame them.
Okay.
But what the young Chanko made him for Nibia to screen, so we did this a production, the battle as well as someone. Video a decanema feeling. At also, you know, Obama no or Casse. American leadership, American the DVS.
Okay.
American the DVS in Eco Sign Paris Agreement. And not to say, we ye or America in way for more. And ye. So I say,
okay.
I just said training the head coach. Say head no everywhere. Coach is not American and in America they dear coy.
Okay.
And now America say we in way free. And any Trump a case now kind. Now baby a carry try your sign idea. I want a gun also try or this idea. Now video track to almost say Ban Ki-moon.
That's right.
Or can say leaving no one behind. Then you'll be in free. And I didn't know any sign, and I you be in free. Eban is America, dear, after or free. And not America free, UN Secretary General, Nana Musini, or ye bet you can say America in the presidency, they're crucial. We see the word crucial.
That's
And the video to no. And in America, a free mono, the Amaya ne say, Amaya Quenya say, a fay ye bet me at bo. We are sending cocoa. This American free man can watch you.
Number one, yes, you
yes,
what yes, you
and the American free mono, and no, not my and that's why, and then you know what I say. Now, because America, when you say a can go, let a body call yourself or you a free Paris agreement. You obey me, I can head the naked.
Okay,
next data, and that's all.
I'll say on the US withdrawal from the Paris Agreement.
Yes.
Press statement. Michael R.
Pompeo. Yes.
Secretary of State.
Yes. Krata already come and patch date near Bempo.
November 4th, 2019.
2019. On say Paris Agreement, you know, what can say we film one? A Befam Pier 9 and send away film.
Okay.
And Donald Trump by 2017. And Wakai. Okay, no, and ye, or letter could just be free.
Okay.
But I let no, a bet file so I'm Fiemiansa.
Okay.
And some, as I said, you might Fiemians and every year, and pen and letter Papa Nankasako.
Okay.
This letter was so 2019, a bet file so I could see 2019, backward because 2019, 2020. The November 2020, and says I let away a mature.
Okay.
When I ink won't say, I was doing so.
Okay.
Now, the attorney said, Pope Francis document require you and Nadia Tumuno. Roman Catholics of Phoebe and Cansen be.
Okay.
Now, and dancing who shared the Guardian. Baby, I'm highlighting who we are, not a Brentino, you will kind, baby, highlighting on Quanity audience. Not a member, a for NT assembly.
Okay, the Guardian. I say Pope Francis edit of climate change will anger deniers and US churches. Saturday, 27 December 2014, that's 21.06 GMT.
Sanity. Oh, Pope Francis or the document by out 2015 June. I know they call UN. But Roman Catholic Cardinal be a catcher and say, document that Pope did ban.
Okay.
A beha and sorry be. And obeha a beam from climate deny one more enyim to say we mo ayehye no e be ha sa afọ.
Okay.
We Roman can so for na e ka sa akire wi ase you.
That's right.
Wa mo asori kudin.
Okay.
O se be ha sa for binum e wo US. Ape kan be bia ma highlight no.
Me pass say Dan Misler.
Very good.
Director of the Catholic Climate Covenant said there will always be 5 to 10% of people who will take offense.
Yes.
They are very vocal and have political clout. This encyclical will threaten some people and bring joy to others.
Yes.
The arguments are around economics and science rather than morality.
I think second paragraph na highlighting no.
Francis will also be opposed by the powerful US evangelicals movement. So Calvin Besna.
No, here. Papa no, or yet where your friend Dan Misler or your cardinal, yet mean the Pope mania ye.
Okay.
On no war casse, document that Pope Francis de Aqua, to grant Eddie Babans, have no fan for you. Or no fan of a chabeck, a boy mania say, Cratan of Papa de Ban, a behind the crew, you know. Bakuya, sorry.
Okay.
Na sorry no, sorry no, or so or we are simon, sorry, kume be
no man or ding,
or man or ding. Or so my bear in or hanche moon because yes, sorry, kume be by man or ding. And or castle, we is sorry in China. A behind the peculiar or moon to say, Sa for or from the US evangelicals.
Okay.
Now, we have more video Munuka can I mean, yes,
Master Production, video 6 and 7.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Friends, delegates, and fellow Americans, I humbly and gratefully accept your nomination for the presidency of the United States. At this moment, I would like to thank the evangelical and religious community because I'll tell you what, the support that they've given me, and I'm not sure I totally deserve it, has been so amazing. and has had such a big reason for me being here tonight. True. So true.
adɔfo yɛ kɔ na nkakrakra sɛ de bɛyɛ ntiaseɛ ne bɛba tie nkɔ evangelist o evangelist yakɔ video
on said Donald Trump ankasa ansa ne nto aba ma no dan no a wɔgye tu mu sɛ ma pene so sɛ mo nto aba ma me na me o ma pani ɛna wɔda ekristofo ase sɛ ɛnam ho nso nti ɛna wodu bɛyɛ wadurei
that's right
na ɔkan sɛ next wɔkɛ ko ɔse evangelicals
yeah
saafo ne na Cardinal Missler ɛka sɛ
ɔmo bɛkyerɛ wɔn
ɔmo bɛsɔre tia Pope Francis krata na ɔde ba no saafo bɛsɔre tia na video de kyerɛ bɛkyerɛ but me ka asɛm we Pope Francis ɔmo ti document de tu mu no ɔka asɛm bi
okay
na ayi we hwɛ baabi a halate ne nko aha ɛne hayi kake
okay also Pope Francis praises historic Paris Climate Change Agreement December 14th 2015 Rome Pope Francis on Sunday praised what he called an historic agreement reached at the United Nations Climate Change Summit in Paris and called for a global commitment to implement it, including special attention to the poorest populations.
Yes.
It's partly legally binding and partly voluntary,
yes.
Okay, and will take effect in 2020.
Very good. So,
okay.
2014, where 2015, and a proposal character ya koma UN say, or don't say, say or magic say in to and or no actual the character will say, Diomaja to Nifabino, I am I was here this.
That's right.
Nifabidi, Upa
now, that's right.
Nanina Bebemo, Besha said 2020.
Okay.
If you know that proposal and 2015, now or Henry say, a Mranwa, a Shisha Animanum, a Besha
Bifrasia Yejuma.
Yes. Some meeting, Apple Francis Cancer, a Besha said 2020. And no, na as the for the letter call a cancer letter no happen. But dancing tea, my son, their baby.
Okay.
Some letter we, every day for catching. Ushe baby a mahalaten kwa because I can't that.
Seventh-day Adventists reaffirm commitment to persevering the environment.
Yes.
Okay. Preserving the environment. Okay. Also, as world leaders gathered in Paris for the 21st United Nations Climate Change Conference.
Yes.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church supports and applauds the effort of these leaders to come to an agreement to stem the deterioration of our earth due to climate change.
We are seeing no.
Okay, also we support the effort of world leaders and all humankind to protest and protect that which has been created by God and trusted to us.
Thank you. Anunti Macfin leka okase Paris agreement no kwesere sumra bia nimu no. Ne ho ya me nwanwa. Because me Ghana ha na me wo. Ghana prampo no nya ba bia na menim. Ba ono ba bia ote no o special oben ho. O tin special o hu wiase nyina.
Okay.
Je so okase ade ni enim no ne hu de me nwanwa. Eno na me ndafo be bredi na chi ni so on kan ye nti no obi ate ada.
Na wo yo kwabene e wo asafo no.
Yes.
Mpakani kese.
Okasa
nti won kan ya.
Won kan ya
ye ntebe.
So de we ne patuntum. So de o kan hwi nim.
Okay.
Yes. And you know, the Omokoji Tumuno, or more fix it 2020. At almost she said to her, say, a few won't go here.
Nanka Bibia.
Yes, never be. So that's it. Into the Donald Trump, as I say, or didn't Nancy was only one pencil. Now, Donald Trump in pencil, yes, a beer or who be more.
Okay.
One more, a boy money, dim Kunimu. So this yes, so this very good. If you say, or Montum, or Munium, or Mugumoyano, a Pope Francis and Brana, a Casa, Yamana said, what the video said, yes, and Umbra. Na ya panka ya asem
adofno ya the video bekasa na de waso no betie de honhom ka kira safono it videos 8 to 13 production.
According to a United Nations study, the commitments made so far by parties to the Paris Agreement represent just 1/3 of what is needed. We need to do more, and we need to do it quicker. We need more ambition and accelerated action by 2020. If we do not reverse the current trend of emissions by 2020, it may be impossible to meet the 1.5-degree goal. And that is what leaders committed to do in Paris.
Without US leadership and participation, there will be no winners from this climate crisis. We will all become
losers.
The world.
I don't think Trump is a skeptic. I think he is evil and a cynic. Even his aide said, oh, no, he believes the climate's changing. That makes it all the worse. He is a sociopath, which means inflicting harm on others does not bother this man. That's the real problem. Trump and his cronies in the Congress are corrupt. They're basically reflecting the oil and gas lobby, not the will of the American people, and certainly not the interest of the American people. This is not about jobs. It's not about the vote. It's not about the base of political support of Trump. It's about Koch Industries. It's about Chevron. It's about ExxonMobil. It's about Peabody Coal. It's about a few big interests that pay hundreds of millions of dollars over recent years to the U.S. Congress for campaigns. They own truly what we are facing. And I'm sorry to say it. It's my country. I'm not very happy to say it. But this is an imperial power in decline. And it is a dangerous country right now. It will be absolutely dangerous if Trump wins re-election. Now, okay, you don't have to say anything. No one likes to say these things, but this is actually important. The world can't stop because of the United States.
Every time you talk about America, you're right when you say that our leadership in Washington is a little bit backwards. But you're wrong when you say that America dropped out of the Paris Agreement. Because if you look a little bit beyond Washington, you will see that it is the states and the cities, it's local governments, that control 70% of our emissions. And you will see all the extraordinary work that is going on a state and city level in America. So the states and the cities are still in the Paris Agreement. Our financial institutions are in. Our academic institutions are still in. The governors and the mayors are still in. The United States is still in. And we're doing an extraordinary job there by staying in. Yes, we have a Meshuggah leader in Washington that is not in, that is out.
How are you, almost every school child in America knows more about the climate challenge than apparently the President of the United States.
Evangelist. And then the announcer was nigga no nyina na mu.
Make am chiro. Ade braba.
That's right.
All say video di kan. Antonio Guterres. O kan say empanimfo no oji tu mu e wo Paris say 2020. Ye be committee o just say ye de hu be hye emram.
That's right.
Enu nti no o kan say na 2018.
Okay.
Na ne nyina gina opening Trump so. Eti o hwe video de to aso no banki mu. O se America nka ho pa enye ye
just o mbeka.
Yes, e ho nyina ye nkom hye. Enti no e wo so sa no na nka nyankopon ba na e bobi ase no kokko.
That's right.
Me man mu tu ne mumra. Enti sa do nyina ye Revelation chapter 18 verse 4. O hwe nkom hye mo ba de ye dro ni. E bi se esesa ye bedru verse 5. E ho na bia se wi ye wo. Enti we are living under just one verse. E ho na Trump grace no e hye. And then we share video now about us on now. Papa because the friend Jeffrey Sachs.
Okay.
Jeffrey Sachs no video di kind of also or can say Trump or you cynic or you evil.
That's right.
Man ko square
interesting na yes.
You can so be a cynic. I just say what you hwenye or you be or your self interest or pay or you be a
person kuminya hye na
ma na osanso pen from so e woni pam. Sir.
Okay.
After okoya meeting be o Rome. Some meeting no Pope Francis Yasibi.
That's right.
Just so you know Vatican. Now Australia for the publishes a letter. Some meeting now. Asem o kan no. Ya ko kire gwa but we dey can paragraph too big ka brenti.
Okay. I say US unilateral action. The Paris Agreement on climate change and other agreements were a complete violation of every international rule. He said,
Yes.
this is truly what we are facing. I'm sorry to say it. It's my country and I'm not very happy to say it.
Yes.
But it's an imperial power in decline.
Yes.
And it is a dangerous country right now.
Yes.
And it will be absolutely dangerous if Donald Trump wins re-election.
Where Okan will rule. For Francis Moneyes meeting.
What can say here?
Yes. And the public agent and never be a higher body, your bono videos or your perceived evidence in a bar.
That's right.
T and Kasaka. And you know, Mankasan himself, a dangerous a Donald Trump, a best election. David
postpone.
Yes.
Almost. Okay.
And you know, can say companies are Omunwa Petrol, so about Chevron.
That's right.
South one and a moment Donald Trump is and as I for no climate change no yedim ran bar e be go moduma.
Okay.
And in Trump on ho na on sia do no kwan. No mo faso nya ska so Coca-Cola so din. Sa. And no entwakwa na ekoso no.
Stone mobile.
Eso mobile nyina.
That's right.
And ade na ekoso no Donald Trump e gina sa okuna no no. O hwe Arnold Schwarzenegger de okasa ye no. O say o describe Trump say o ye mashogani.
Serious.
Ye ka so obe mashogani e persona non grata. Just say Sabi toilet roll crampos. Yes. And to catch and say America dear America for you now. Now Washington.
Not a woman you walk on one.
Oh, you are now say the Speaker of Parliament, Nancy Pelosi. Once or can say school need be American po any climate change. I did not Trump. And you know Trump no acquire any pebia. Oh, see why you see a quine. Oh, enti no hwa komaden Trump de ti konya no so a na nyame maye din ye sori a party sa chese nkwaje mpa ye ho anwesa kra mpa ye ho na sa nyankopon a empata na Trump ne konya no hwan a obi hu ya se foforo immediately enti no ebreka kra ya kan ehia ma se ye betu America den na de ama ade na ye hu ya se kokko. Yes, de ama ade na ye hu pa ene se last year kan Pope Francis the document out. Last year can bet Adansi what the Makoya this very paragraph okay. Yes, I should be.
Okay. I'll say implementing the LS Action platform.
LS Action near Ladato C.
Okay. We intend to begin in early 2021.
Very good.
By inviting a certain number of the above institutions to begin their 7-year journey of integral ecological in the spirit of Laudato Si.
Very good.
The following year, we will encourage a new group, hopefully double the number of the previous group, to begin the 7-year journey, and so on.
Yes.
In this way, we are planning to grow a Laudato Si inspired network.
Thank you very much.
That continues to expand and grow exponentially.
No. The one can wire. The all China said 2020 no. Afi wankwa wie no. No mo de mrane hyɛ nyinaa begu akwan mu.
Okay.
Sɛ bɛyɛ a ye drew afi ɛbɛyi early 2020 sa no wɔka. Na nkusia mo de gu akwan mu no. Wɔde ɔmo de jubilee aba. Ye si ye di afasha ma ye wiase.
Okay.
Wɔn sɛ ye di Mother's Day, Father's Day, sa de no. Asɛm ɛhyɛ aseɛ kakra bi nie. Ɔmo yi baako mi ɔmo ka no Earth Day asase da.
Okay.
Every day di kan ya na afi di kan ɔmo di sa asase da no. De besi afi we no enya 50 years.
Wow.
And 2020 no ɔmo se ye di Earth Day asase da.
Okay.
Na ye di asase da no ɛna ya to no say jubilee say 50 years jubilee.
That's right.
And no Pope Francis wa pai jubilee ama wiase.
Okay.
Ɛna jubilee no apa ma wiase no. Wɔde bosumi ya omu yi. De kosi bosumi ya ba yi. Kosi da omu nyinaa no wɔde amanso no wiase nyinaa sɛ ɔmo mfa mpai sa afa hyɛ no ni. Na so ne bia nkyerɛ kwan ya ɔbɛfa so a ɔbɛbɔ wiase ho ban. Na sɛ de ɔde ba Laudato Si no sɛ yɛmfa presidency on. Asɔre bia nyɛ sa akwan kyerɛ.
Akwasi da no so yɛ the mark of the Catholic Church.
And no ɔde aba evocation for justice jubilee of the earth. What they kind page 11. But you highlight the keke. Na de nhwa de ye
Okay, climate change Sunday. Climate Sunday. An ecumenical Climate Sunday program is planned to for September. Climate Sunday material will be available for people to start making pledges and taking action from Sunday 6 September at the beginning of the season of creation.
Good.
Okay, so my second one now.
Yes.
Also, the momentum continues long after the season ends through ongoing prayer, changes in lifestyle, and advocacy.
Very good. And you know, or say, dear, if person you will go see the Bepano, and you're not a sorry na access our fine.
That's right.
Now, if you're chef and we are, was it a twasso? Senka ye jadi ani jabet wo de wo si etwaso na etwaso no wiase no wo si wachichem ebre no so obia benya ne chepa she
okay
enti na bia beka se bia Africa mo na afiwe mudi kan na ya san se Europe bia mo na next mudi kan wo si sa no be ne kakra se bia wiase nyina no emra ne be adwuma ewo pepe enti afiwe nkwa we ye de se nya botare sha kan de 2020 no mo twa tum
okay
na last week ye bo homa yidin e wa ha na ebrenti me nka mo asem bet me can say ko hwe na wo hwe every page 11
Jubilee for the earth
yes o hwe every page 11 e ba nyina because who video be bi say ya
okay
o tru o mo say enkro no a ye bo climate change ho ban no a mo de ka no ye fa ye kan che wo no bi say bible mu no 50 years bia no ye pai fa hodi e ma ye de ka no
okay
enti se Ghana de car ji document yitum na wi asem fa wo kan chew
wow
so what
asem de
yes e krata no
okay
ni nyina e ye nhye de amansafo no se ye nni so
okay
abanya wodo so e wo copy e for you and neighbor enti no we nye obi biem na be kan hwe ye se
adwena na
ye se ade no gitum na wo ka wo de no
ye mfa nchew
na kwen mo fa so mo de ka ne e chew ne se climate change how corona be hanu nyina wo document yi anu nti no yenyi wo kan firi so ne ma wo hye abrabo foforo ase biu na abrabo foforo no be hye ase so ye di mra foforo na den sana hye ne nti
no kire se fa kwasi ya de si wo so somda
sana tie enti wo a wan pene so no
na o hye matachiri
yes wo ka no ye mfa nchew
wow
anu nti na nansa last week no ye pa ban chew se sa krata ye odi koi se okoji samra yutumu a aya amane wonye ntonso so a ye nya amane
sa ban so pese ye
aban pese de ni ka che no nti won timi nka se menyimtu so ata se enti no ade na akoye bibi ho wo de empa bi de saka no nto aso na ye ntimi nwie ntem
production videos 14 to 20
yes
in considerazione delle circostanze si allettino pure le sanzioni internazionali che inibiscono la possibilità dei paesi che ne sono destinatari di fornire adeguato sostegno ai propri cittadini e si mettano in condizioni tutti gli Stati di far fronte alle maggiori necessità del momento, riducendo, se non addirittura condonando, il debito che grava sui bilanci di quelli più poveri.
Good afternoon to all of you, and thank you very, very much for being here. This is a very exciting moment in which we are, again, calling the world to do what we have to do. And it is, if anything, if I were to put together the whole hour, and we hope not to go over an hour, not to make more use, you abuse your time more. If I were to summarize the whole event into one sentence, I would say, swallow the alarm clock. Because this is about a call to collective intentionality, just like we had collective intentionality for the Paris Agreement. And now we need another wave of collective intentionality to make sure that we do not surpass the milestone or the timing of 2020 as being the moment in which we truly bend the curve and begin to show the world that we have begun to descend emissions.
Started talking to Trump. Now, this is December 5th. Last year, I went into the Oval Office and plunked my tape recorder. In fact, I have the tape recorder, an Olympus special. I plunked it down on the Resolute desk and said, this is all on the record. I'm going to record it. I want to find out what your policies have been. This was before the virus. And we went through North Korea. We went through all kinds for 9 hours. And it is a look into his mind. And
hi there, I'm Brianna Keilar, and I want to welcome viewers here in the United States and around the world. 191,000 Americans have died from the coronavirus, and the president has lied about what he knew about the pandemic, and it's on tape. So what is he doing? He is blaming the reporter who interviewed him, tweeting, "Bob Woodward had my quotes for many months. If he thought they were so bad or dangerous, why didn't he immediately report them in an effort to save lives? Didn't he have an obligation to do so?" Well, that is a debate that should happen, but not by the guy who lied to the American people and is looking for a distraction to cover his mistakes. Bob Woodward's book is not a postmortem. We are still in the first half of this game, this battle with coronavirus. And President Trump is still responsible for leading the nation in its pandemic response right now, and for at least another 4+ months. Right now, he is focused instead on fudging the facts, that he lied about how easily the virus was transmitted. This is what he told Woodward on February 7th.
And so what was President Xi saying yesterday?
Well, we were talking mostly about the virus, and I think he's going to have it in good shape. But it's a very tricky situation.
Indeed,
it goes through air, Bob. That's always tougher than the touch. The touch, you don't have to touch things, right? But the air, you just breathe the air, and that's how it's passed. And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus. People don't realize we lose 25,000, 30,000 people a year here. Who would ever think that, right?
And this is what he was telling us publicly less than 3 weeks later on the 26th.
This is like a...
Joining us now, Senate Minority Leader, Democrat Chuck Schumer of New York. Senator Schumer, thank you for joining us. Your response, sir, to the Trump tapes.
They're just awful. Look, when the house is on fire and there's a 5-alarm fire, you have an obligation to let people know. If not, they're going to burn and they're going to die. And this awful, awful incident, tragedy, can be summed up in 4 words. Trump lied, people died. And when we look at the rest of the world...
In order to reduce panic, did you mislead?
Well, I think if you said in order to reduce panic, perhaps that's so. The fact is, I'm a cheerleader for this country. I love our country. And I don't want people to be frightened. I don't want to create panic, as you say. And certainly I'm not going to drive this country.
I want to begin with a scene in the Woodward book where we have the National Security Advisor telling the president that the coronavirus is going to be the biggest national security challenge that he faces as president of the United States. And that's in January, exactly when he should have been told that. And then we see the revelations in the February 7th tape with Bob Woodward and more. So it's very clear that the president was told what was coming very early.
Which is extraordinary, Lawrence, because the storyline that the White House has tried to tell up until now is that the president really wasn't briefed. He didn't have the information that he needed. It wasn't a big deal. He wasn't expecting it to become anything of particular seriousness. On one level, I'm reassured to know that the National Security Advisor actually understood the gravity of a global pandemic. On the other hand, I'm quite concerned to learn that the president, knowing that, wittingly did nothing to prepare. And worse, he lied to the American people about its severity. Really what we learned today, Lawrence, is that by his own admission, by lying to the American people, we now know that Donald Trump surely has the blood of tens of thousands of Americans on his hands.
The scenes in the book where the president is downplaying it, he seems to think, as he's explaining it to Bob Woodward, that he is absolutely right to be downplaying it. That's what the president should do.
What the president should.
Adolfo no sama mo akwa babio. We no ne niema a ekoso wo ye wiase mu. A se adifo ne asofo ka ho asem. Di nim ye DC be wini, MPP be wini, o ma me na ye wo. Mr. Program yi a serious program a ye de bokoko. E twa manfo ara join every Babylon mu e do ma ba no kresom mu. Iti bomodin se bibia wonti ase bia no betuma friend wo bisayen. So person support program ya betuma donate e dia fa telephone number me de to dwai so. E 055. Okay, it go screen also. It will bet me actual. That's 055 3574 send bibra na yetmi ato data kakra ne de atwetwe niam se de be bitimi aba be bi de akere wo na sisi ye nyina ama yesu maya etoso emienu no evangelist.
Thank you.
We are se baby edrun.
Me na me catch it. Adanse nti na ebo videos ni.
That's right. Adanse nti nko so ayi.
Good. On say Pope Francis Ankasa. Ye said that was video no. Baby ogina o kan say yemfa amanaman e kan che wo.
That's right.
Was video. Yes be ye kasa keke. Now 2020 we on say the next video Christina Figueres. On here the previous executive director climate change.
Okay.
And all can say ade na ye program on why say 2020 we there. Bi enkwa wiye no na bebi atodi enti wo bia wo ye nipa wo ye kwan a wo si kwan ne de afi wo nkwa wiye no o ma yiwe bi yo firi kwam sa na hye ne de enti no ye mu binum ye hu dada se opening Trump
the tikeka
yes adum bi keke na ekota no e ma ye mu binum se be ya betimi aba TV sukra de akasa e bi se enti
bi ba ye ntimi nkasa se mu e wo TV so bi e wo ntimi nkasa no so record bi to ya obo no ma ti
sa enti na Nyankopon ma yesa abri enti ne asofo ne memedafo no moye din no minim ebre o mo twen
SDFo
men kan mo
so bidiri so mo sika mon kanya mo
na wo hwa Trump videos na boy e shada Bible boy
okay
papa no e fa no Bob Woodward no onu ko Trump nchen e di tape recorder a kire no say me be so asem na asem na be sa wo no
me recordo
yes me recordo Trump so Japan yes a recordo e no be sa ne say coronavirus and sesame uji ni say wo si hwe ya de na ehu no kika ya
kire se wonim hu
bi sa de na ehu ene bi sa dan che be na wo ye de America ho bai o so da bi me pese me bo America fo hu nti ade no me ka say ano nya din Trump ni o
we ti atrofita
o ka say we to ho ansa na yare ne po e ba America o yare ne do America match oni papa ne din komo February ena ne January no ene e bo no kokose yare no nam China na be pia America ha ye hu nti no mampani from branch to akwam say ya mampani wato bodamu wafa se be oboga na ho ban ka wo no ye bi wo doctors wo ho no mo mpan ho drone ten Trump and fee so they didn't e ma yare naba and you should the talk on say Trump lied and people died Trump has
American like 10,000 Americans moja
egunisem enti wom nyina ko hye nipa ne bufu a mo le dey ye pese di to aba ne yi Trump free nti mo Trump se oyo bon sampa na wo betra America so na ansan me fa ma asem nsi no ma me ayi leader of Congress dey o ka say Trump ono pe na won che commission say ye Pelosi
okay
o kan asem bi na wo dey hwede
na ka 2 minutes nti ye hwe na ye mo ne taw
ye be bi sisi ya
Pelosi say climate change will be early part of Democrats 2021 agenda. Okay.
What's it early? African
as wildfires range across California and the West.
Yes.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi D. Calif on Thursday pledged that major climate change legislation would be an early part of Democrats' 2021 agenda if her party wins back the White House this fall.
On say legislation embrashe oka ta be o say early 2021 and na early 2021 ma me nkyere mu ye to aba wa America November we na say de mo pani bem wa yetu na Trump ade so a on free so afi we obe free so January 20
okay
o free so January 2021 no a Paris document no okay article where article 30 article 21 now we share clause 3 no a kire say so o man be ni hu free mu a say oba it take 30 days
okay
enti say
no che bekwa pusia no wow
enti ye Trump konya so dem from no by January 2020 no say additional soji emra no to mu a e be 30 days enti by February no no ne open na nyina ye enti ma me ka say early 2021 na Odemia ka so no ka so
wow adafrom yenya yanke beto aso na enenso ebre ye ninka so ye di dwumedie no ebesi ha nemum ne ye nyina ne videos a ye yi de kire wo no we nya mabom tirim a acte ene ye yi kire wo nemum ye de kire wo se bibi di a kire ba nyankopon homeda a wode esi wo se ennom wode a hye no ho so se me ne oba ade no enipa bo no ho di biara si be ye firi ho ne de kwasia da ye the mark of the Catholic Church asaf nankasa giatum ya bo asofo mako be sensia omo nyina gye atum document ahodo e kire se Sunday worship the mark of the Roman Catholic Church omo de no na ebesi wa ama wiase ni ahyemradin e de abata kire ama UN enso abomu ama adere e de na wo ye fa ho what does to kwesi ada so mu Revelation chapter 18 verse 4 osebe man mu mfiri ne mu na mo anya ne bone ni bi na mo anya na so twen ni bi se na wo just out phrase so what the ponko bi konso na wontimi hia no ma no de waso no wontie de honhom na ka kira asafo no obetuna support program no number na ye de to screen so no na wa send kakra de brain say de be ya betumi download more videos ni abebo bi e de akere wo wontie bi asenso a the same number obetumi afre me so me number e 0244 132368 that's 0244 132368 fre de wontie as ebia no ye mo honkomo Evangelist Joseph Anani ne nyankopon nam no so ekasa kire production team crew obi obo program yi wakoni asa nyina so no ye da o chairman Mr. Freeye belated happy birthday ma Mr. Oya no abon nkwa man e nyame pa na wo twese ne wabra abo no nsia kobo no nso no kai edi yemre bebo akwan so bio ebe me ehunu no kre no na no kre no aye ade hye thank you.